Church. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you for having me and that God plays jokes. Less than 2 weeks ago, I was on a panel with a bishop and a surgeon. Today, I'm in front of a congregation. I'm gonna talk, I'm gonna give you a little bit about what I've been through, but more I wanna focus on successful transitioning back into the community. So long story short, I used to hear, you go all the way through school and you still ain't gonna be nothing because the white man ain't gonna allow you to be nothing. And then I lived in a community where I was surrounded by people that were broken and didn't go fulfill their dreams. So that's what I was fed as a child. And so I'm like, why would I go down this road if everybody's telling me this road gonna lead to a dead end? So what I did, I turned to the streets. There was none of the brothers that's like in here in my community to grab me by the hand and mentor me. But the drug dealers, they used to knock on my door, pick me up from school. And so then my dream became, one, to get out of my community, but two, to be notorious. So I wanted to be a killer. And so by trying to live that lifestyle, by the time I was 16, I was charged as an adult and sent into the adult penal system. Now these same dudes that used to mentor me used to tell me when I turned 21, my record gonna be erased. But now I'm 16, charged as an adult. So they lied to me. And so only time I've ever really called on God when I used to be like, God, please let my mother pay the bond. God, I'm little, don't let them harm me in this prison, right? So, when my turning point came is when I had one of those looking in the mirror situations, and I realized that my whole life from the age of like 10 till I was 23 was a lie, was a fantasy. I had a nickname. I thought these guys that I would have killed and died for would always be there. I thought these little women that I was running behind was gonna be there for me. But now I'm sitting in this cell with an Indian dude that I don't understand why he won't wash his feet, right? So I reached out to God, and this was the first time that I've ever really meant it. And I said, God, if you help me through this, I promise you that I'm gonna change, right? But then I'm listening to the guys that's in the prison. They're like, when you come home, you're gonna be on parole, and all the parole officer wanna do is send you back to prison. And you ain't gonna get no job because now you a felony conviction. You have felony convictions. So I went back to God. I said, look, I need you to work with me because I've never had a job, but I want to stay out of prison. And I know I can't go back to that life because they don't love me like I thought they loved me, right? So then God gave me the arts. I was never an artist. I ended up writing 8 books when I was in prison, 4 screenplays and like 4 children books, right? But that was cool, but when I was trying to get them published in jail, I was sending them to publishers, and publishers say we don't look at material that's sent unsolicited. We only look at material sent through agents. So I contact the agents, and the agents say we don't represent authors unless you have already been published, right? So now I'm like, all right, what I'm gonna do next? So I looked around me, and the one thing that I knew that I had in common with all the men that were in there with me, they were hurting, they were lonely. So I decided to start a pen pal company called Serving in Time, right? To try to curb some of that loneliness and to help dudes successfully transition. But that wasn't really the plan that God had for me, even though I did do it. When I came home, back up a little bit. When I called home, My mother or whoever will accept the call, I will tell them whatever I had to tell them to make sure that call be accepted next time. So when they ask me what kind of job, what I'm gonna do when I come home, I said I'm gonna work. It doesn't even matter what kind of job, whether it's construction, whether it's McDonald's. But that was my lie, because Lamont ain't lifting no bricks, right? And Lamont is not getting cussed out because I ain't put your fries in the bag, right? So I ended up enrolling in the college program, and I was taking business management, and I discovered that I was already a businessman. When the book was talking about supply and demand, when they was talking about distribution, right? So the one thing that I learned is that I had transferable skills, right? And two, that I know how to run a business, even though I wasn't too successful at running a business because I'm in prison, right? But I knew I had a base to start from. And so when I came home, I was one of those guys that you hear that want to make $35 an hour, right? And people usually tell us, the community usually tell us, you make us feel that we should be grateful for whatever somebody give us, for whatever job that they give us. But that ain't how you stay home. If you want to help your loved ones stay in the street, encourage them to chase that dream that they had on that bunk. Because that's what I end up having to do, and I've been self-employed since 2002. And the same people that I couldn't get a police clearance from to work at is calling me in now to speak to their employees, to do workshop in their facilities. So in closing, and this doesn't extend only to returning citizens. You know, that's the new name now, returning citizen, right? That we still have dreams. And when you pursue your dreams, things will happen. You will meet people who are in the same pursuit. May not be where you are, may be further ahead than you are, but they'll pull you along. They'll give you the information that you need for you to exceed. So that apply to you all too. If you unhappy at that job, right? What is it that you really want to do? Now, I'm a dude, I don't know my purpose, right? But it seems to be ending up in the right places at the right time when I ain't even planning to, because I was back there pacing. I'm like, in front of a congregation, right? But then the light turned on me, just be me. So while just being me, ladies and gentlemen, since I've been home, I have done 3 episodes of the HBO show The Wire. I put like 260 people from this area in that show. My first 2 plays ever I directed at the John F. Kennedy Center. Today, I have a book out called The Heal that I wrote in prison. So if there's no limitations to me, there are no limitations to y'all.